conviction, confidence, arrogance. These are the 3 words Andre C. Martinez recently used to describe me in his videos. Well, I have 3 words now to describe Andre C. Martinez. Mark ass trick. That's right. Now, Andre C. Martinez posts for me an interview to indulge him, put 5 questions forward. But this skeezer doesn't even get the name right. It's not WoodWWAD for all you simpering troglodytic individuals out there in YouTube land. It's WoodWWAD. That is what would and or do. Know that, and you need know nothing else. A recipe for life lived perfectly. Now, he's posed 5 questions to your main man. And before he did that, he spoke about the videos. He enjoys them. He enjoys the fact that I'm crazy. Out there. He talked about the fact, we'll use West Coast hip-hop terminology correctly. I'll tell you this. West Coast hip-hop has been cribbing me since I was in the crib. I am the great white shark of the game. Believe that. And understand your main man comes from places unknown to your mind. So, before we indulge that incorrect thought, we're going to diatribe on you. So, he spoke about people. A lot of people disagree with Ander. A lot of people, they disagree with Ander. Ander's hilarious, but they'll disagree with Ander. Well, these are the people in the world that you see, and you look at them and you know they're wrong. They're wrong about everything they've ever done because a path and a plan has been laid out before them by the benevolent overlord that is your main man. But in all seriousness, Andre C. Martinez, good guy, has put together some videos. A video, which I'm going to respond this to, and asked me to be his first guest for his show he's putting together. I mean, obviously, I hate to see who has to follow this show. Oh, yeah, baby. It's not going to be easy for you. There's a reason they put the main event on last. So, okay, all that silliness aside, he's asked a bunch of questions here. Let me just start going through them in order and answering them, because you can always ask me whatever you like. As the gentleman gamer likes to say, and we're going to anybody's channel. I will, because unlike that English motherfucker, I have no problem going out there helping get people's channels running, giving support, just kicking it around, joking on people, whatever it is, just having a good old time. And I like to see the community grow, and anyone that is willing to put up with me is pretty much good in my book. So, let's see, where does he start here? He says, I didn't write all his questions down verbatim, but I did write this one down verbatim, I think. You have been playing role-playing games since you were 10 years old. What has changed over the years in the hobby that you enjoy the most and the least? Well, for me, it's kind of a simple way to do it. It's just a learning immersion, and the more and more I picked up on that, that's what I wanted. I was never about like 9 points of damage to a kobold or fighting shambling mounds. That doesn't matter to me. I've always been about immersion, building the character. For me, a lot of the problems that occur in role-playing games occur because people, they can't, it's just me in this fantasy world. It's just my game piece. My character is a game piece. That's not what it is. A character is someone else that I get to vicariously live through. They are someone else. There is an immediate disconnect because it's not me. You understand? So the more of that role the deeper I can get into that role, the deeper I can get into that is really a huge thing. In 1991, when Vampire the Masquerade came out, that revolutionized the hobby tremendously. Because I remember playing before that, and it was rough because a lot of people didn't know what they were doing role playing wise. And I always had an idea. I knew exactly what I wanted from the time I was 10. I knew exactly what I wanted a role playing game to be, and that has never changed. I want a role playing game to be deep immersion. I didn't know how to articulate that, explain it, or get to that goal, but I knew I wanted that. Now, when Vampire came out, it just really revolutionized role-playing. It was just so unbelievably excellent. Whether, you're looking at the games of today, and you can say, well, you make your quibbles and so forth, but it just changed things. It wasn't about dungeon hack and save the princess. It was about moral dilemmas. It was about struggling for power in a political system that was severely rigged against you by strength of age and years and experience. So it was great. And that was something that really revolutionized. And when I started finding again Call of Cthulhu as well, which came out earlier game, but I didn't find it. I found it after I found Vampire the Masquerade. That also helped to revolutionize sanity points. Because right then, right off the bat, we're talking about selling. And they were selling to some degree in Vampire as well. You know, when you're failing your Fox Frenzy checks and so forth. But at Cthulhu, you got sanity. You're just selling. You're like, oh god, it's horrible, it's monsters. But you never see that in a Dragons game. It's like, oh, there's a Gelatinous Cube. I'll just go and attack it. It's like, really, dude? How about you run from that? That is not something you how would you even fight it? If I saw a Gelatinous Cube in real life, I would run. I would run. It doesn't matter what kind of weapons I have. I wouldn't even know how to fight that. It's ridiculous that you're going to fight something like that. So the greater steps come towards immersion, the more I enjoy them. The things I enjoy the least are the backwards ass stance that Wizards of the Coast has taken in just trying to just destroy the fucking hobby. Oh, here, let's just keep going with more battle maps and tiles and all these things the game companies use to just try to rape money out of players. I find it disgusting because they're selling you things that are actually make the game less fun. That doesn't make the game more fun. It makes the game less fun. I will guarantee you, put the best tile stipe person with all their, get every dungeon tile you want, get every miniature that exists, get every encounter card, condition band, all that stuff, everything. Get the entire thing of it. You run your fucking game, I'll run my game, and I will smoke your bitch ass. Believe that. It'll be about 1 billion times more fun than a clunky, cumbersome thing you're trying to call a role-playing game. So it's about allocating your mental resources in an incorrect direction for their exploitation of the players. I find that abhorrent. The more I get into game design, the more I despise that. So that is my absolute least favorite element. The fact that, you know, and now I think even they're trying to sell like collectible card games in it. That's not what role-playing games are. Go play Magic the Gathering. They don't need decks of things and so forth. You just need this. That's it, dude. That's it. I can run a role-playing game all day long with nothing. I don't even need dice, son, and I don't need books either. That's it. And the more they pull you away from that creative experience, that glory, personification of the mind, the imagination, when it's laid out for you, in front of you, when they're not using that imagination anymore, it's just a failure. And I'm like a vicious opponent of that. And, you know, I'm not even going to come out here and try to act funny on my views of the likes of that. Now, he asked, which video do I consider my most memorable? I don't know. I really liked my campaign World Builder series. I think those are the best videos that I've done. I think those have really helped a lot of people. I've gotten tremendous feedback from those. So, I mean, you could go to #1, which is Campaign World Builders Gods. I think that's going to be my most memorable. I think that's the series I'm known for. I know other people try to get sneaky, try to roll like they be doing videos. You know your main man is the originator of such topics. No, it's perfectly fine. Actually, I love to see people jump on and attach, you know, video respond and so forth. All my topics are open. I say something like that. That's completely joking for anyone that doesn't have a sense of humor. And I know there are a couple of you out there, sadly. But always feel free to take my topics and video respond things back, or even not. You know, don't even credit me. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Just ideas, and they all kind of float around and influence each other. And that's just how creative processes work. So yeah, I'm going to go with those. I also really liked my my video on Nefandi. I think that was a real winner. I did a good job with that one. And I did a video on Devils, which I thought was very good. Yeah, so I guess those are the ones we'll go with. So, and he says, why is this memorable? Because I get, like, first of all, I think they provide a very interesting and unique service, and they really help people to develop a campaign, even people that are veterans, because, you know, I really know what I'm doing with this stuff, and I'm making these videos, like, while I was building the role-playing game that I'm building for publication, so I'm very carefully examining them from a different aspect. Okay, we're building gods. So how am I building in the process? Not that you can start anywhere building, but I've just received so many wonderful comments. A lot of people will even PM me with these big, you know, oh, thank you. You know, this really is completely revolutionized. I mean, people will say they've revolutionized the way they play games when they watch my videos. Now, a lot of times I come in here and just act like a fool, and that's all by purpose, full design. But at the same time, I try to really spill the wisdom that I've gained in this hobby over 25 years of continuous, not 25 years of just playing, but always trying to get better. And I've had so many people leave me comments and messages and just say, man, you've got me back in the hobby. Your channel's my favorite on YouTube, period, not just RPG. Your videos really mean a lot to me, and I love this style you're talking about. So, those kind of things are very memorable. Those touch me. I'm actually a very emotional kind of guy, believe it or not. I just have kind of hard edge, I guess. So when people say things about it, I really appreciate them. And those are always welcome comments. So let's see. He says, over the last 2 years, you've made alliances with many other players via their channels. However, they seem to come and go. What YouTube RPG Brigade channel do you miss the most, and who do you wish would return? Okay, that's very, very easy. He says he knows who it is. I don't know if he does. It's a no-brainer, without a doubt. Rob Pepper of the TARDIS or Bland Humanoid. That's my man right there. In fact, I was talking to him the other day on Facebook. Instead of time to get on Skype and talk, maybe set up another game. We've gamed before. He's somebody that I have a lot of respect for in the hobby. His game mindset is very good. He's very talented. He's besides gaming, he's like a straight dude. He's the kind of guy that him and I would definitely kick it if we didn't have a giant body of water between us. Because he lives in Ireland. So, if you guys remember Blaney Winter Guitars, one of the original RPG channels, and I think it's very unfortunate he doesn't make videos anymore. I thought he did really an excellent job. It was kind of like, like an old Irish storyteller. He just kind of just meander about the topic for some period of time, and it wasn't like anyone else's channel. That's what I really like, because a lot of channels are becoming very derivative. It's like the same kind of deal over and over again. But you got to put it out there. Sometimes you got to show your ass. Look at my channel. Sometimes you got to be controversial and say, you know what, screw this. I don't like it. I'm not going to be safe. I'm going to say I hate this. And if you like it, well, eat a dick. How about that? How about that? How about that? That's right. That's right. You piece of trash. No, you're not. So, I would love to see Rob Pepper come back. I think that'd be a good deal. Other than him, Dungeon Master Johnny would also be on my list, or your Dungeon Master, John Silver, whatever the hell you want to call him. He's a good dude. He has I thought he did the best job. He has a different style than I do, right? Of course, I rant and rave about things, and I think I just said everyone that plays with tiles should be thrown in the river or something earlier. But I think that he has that. I thought he presented that style better than anyone else that does the type of video he does. He did a really good job presenting that style, and I think when you have excellent examples of a particular style, that those are people you want to watch too. You can learn and say, okay, well, Andrew doesn't like this particular idea, but okay, Johnny's putting it over, and I can actually take it and then take this other thing that Tim said and this thing that Matt said, and I can put it together in a way that it is a little bit different. So, I think it can come across and be helpful to have people that are very good at explaining their style, or very good at their style in the community. So I think he's definitely to be missed. I tried to, I was fighting with him. I was trying to get him to stay on there. As some people do know, he's a good friend of mine as well. Dungeon Master Johnny, and I still keep in touch with him on Facebook too. But I kind of have a feeling he'll come back at some point, but I don't think Rob Pepper will. I don't think so. I'll probably try to force Rob to watch this video. But he's a great guy. I have a lot of admiration for him, and he's one of those guys that is not just gaming, but a lot of other things. He's one of the martial arts and stuff like that, and music, and a lot of common ground there. Very, very, very interesting guy, artist as well. So I guess those would be the answers to your question. I can't really think of anybody else's channel that. No, a lot of other people are gone, but those are the two that I like to see back. The rest of them, to be honest, that's just a shoot. Whatever. A lot of people come and go. There's so many RPG channels out there now that I don't even know if I know half of them, to be honest with you. I don't fake subscribe to anybody. If I subscribe to you, I'm really going to try to watch all your videos, or at least most of them. A lot of people do fake subscribe, which I think is annoying. Like, just watch, subscribe to actually show interest. Don't just hit it because you're trying to get, sub for sub. That's scrub ass tactics. I don't do that. So let's see. Okay, so he says, talk about, I didn't write this one down verbatim, but he's talking about my RPG horror stories. Real life RPG horror stories. That's right, brother. That's right, dude. Well, there's a bunch of trick ass broke busters out there. Now, these type of people, you're looking at loads of, he says, what did he say? Loads of real life RPG epic stories. I've seen a lot of them. Here's the problem. Like, that's a whole video. This is going to be long. So I probably put some of those up on the to-do list. Gosh, I mean, there's just been so many great things for me. It's it's moments when like a player character dies and the other characters are really selling when they're sad, and they eulogize and memorialize and they put it over like it's a really big deal. You have moments of self-sacrifice, or you have a player. For example, I had this whole plot line where I had through Tyr was trying to like bring the Norse pantheon into Forgotten Realms, and he ends up, because I end up killing Mishra off in the game, and I end up bringing Odin in to be the god of magic, because Mishra is butt and Odin is awesome. Anyone that knows me knows I have a great joy for the Norse pantheon, particularly Odin. So I bring in Odin, Loki, and Thor, and through this huge ritual that Tyr does to bring them in and it's a giant plot line, right? But one of the player characters is a follower of Tempest. And Thor, like I have like from like in real life, like I don't know, maybe 5 months of storyline, very slowly. Every once in a while, like these dreams, inspirations, sounds in the wind, crack of thunder, whatever. Where Thor is basically trying to court his character, trying to get him to jump ship from Tempest, god of battle, right, to Thor, god of battle, right? And this whole plot line where it involved Tempest and Talos against Thor, and again, it would take a long time to explain this, but basically, and the character, he's like, oh, am I going to go to Thor? Like, you don't know if he's going to stay true to Tempest, or if he's going to go to Thor, or what's going to happen. But his character, he chooses tobacco, and like with Thor, because Thor's like physically there, like they actually see like the gods manifest and they're fighting, and like Thor is like putting the beat down on Tempest, and Thor basically says, "Well, now you join with me," or something like that. And he looks at him and chewing his tobacco, and he just spits his tobacco all over, well, I mean, Thor's gigantic, it's just like all over his boot and stuff. And Thor looks at him, and he just looks up at Thor and just waits. And I just describe how the shadow just falls on him and it gets larger and larger. And of course, I mean, he's utterly annihilated. There's no rolls, there's no saving throws. You're annihilated. you no longer get to exist. There's no ability to resurrect you. Nothing exists anymore. You got hit by Mjolnir and you're done. And of course, the player, I mean, he was all about that. Like, it was a great deal to him. I don't have players go, hey, they character, no. I mean, it was the story, it was context. I mean, it was the end of the game, and it gave a great write-out. So it was an awesome moment. He sold that real well. And then we flipped it, and I took him up to basically, like, because I had this kind of deal where kind of what ended the resolution was Thor ends up merging with both Talos and Tempest, so kind of becoming like they're both kind of the same. They start having like, it's kind of Thor, but it's still Talos, so it's still Tempest. Again, it's convoluted to try to explain it so shortly, but so I go into this whole thing like he's in the halls of Asgard basically, and he had like a minion who was a goblin who had like started to take the ways of, he had basically grabbed the thing and saved it from slavery. I started feeding it, and it started respecting him, and had learned the way. It became a very interesting comedy relief character, and he learned the ways of Tempest, and he would fight at the drop of a hat, but he got killed. But he's there, and like so they're both there, and they got all the winches and everything. It's just really elaborate description of like what's the afterlife, this heroic afterlife. Because of course, I mean, if who else would Tempest honor and venerate than a warrior of his own that was so brave and brazen to stand up to a god in his name and not to fall to his knees like a coward? Of course, Tempest is going to respect that. So it really created a very interesting scene, and we went into real vivid detail there. I could go on to hundreds and hundreds of things that come to mind, but that's just a little bit of a taste. And if you guys want to see I'm going to let him name it right here. Loads of real-life RPG epic stories. Do you want to have your main man get epic on your bitch ass? You let me know. You tell me, and I will bring the epic fury, thunder, and storm raining down upon you with tales that you never ever want to know. But let me know, if you guys want to hear that. I think the horror stories are pretty much going to be the comedy gold. But if you guys want to hear about epic stories as well, I can certainly relate some of those. Unfortunately, they're going to be much longer videos because it takes a lot to kind of context. You have to give context. Like explain something. Well, this was cool, and here, but you're like, well, why? Well, it's because it's cool because of this, and you're like, okay. So I got to go back and build and build and build. It's like you got to put a lot on. The top of a pyramid isn't very impressive, but it is when you have the entire pyramid there. You see, so videos like that just are going to be a lot longer. So to keep that in mind. Let's see. He says, and his last question: have you ever thought about resurrecting a game system that has fallen by the wayside? Well, if you're looking at like your 80s type games, I think a lot of those were kind of rudimentary and primitive and did not indulge in immersive style of gaming. That's essentially all I want to do. I'm not a casualist style gamer. I'm not a board game gamer, I guess, or a video game type gamer. Like I guess it's like kind of your 4th edition crowd. And I would only suspect that more games will be inflicted upon us that are in that vein. I'm not a war gamer. I don't like any of that stuff at all. What I like is an immersive style of game. So a lot of those earlier games they're not for me. I have no desire to play retro clones of D&D, AD&D games. No, that holds no appeal to me at all. I think we've progressed past those games and that they don't hold any real relevance or value. So those types of games, whether it's Rifts or Palladium Fantasy or whatever, I'm glad to see better games coming into place that I can get a hold of. But if you're talking about resurrecting a game, though, I think I guess if you might put Wraith the Oblivion in a dead game category, I suppose. So that's a game I would happily play. I would run that. I would enjoy Wraith the Oblivion. I've played it before. Played one campaign of it, which I enjoyed a lot. I thought it was a hell of a game, but I've never run it. So that's one. I guess any kind of Call of Cthulhu game except for Call of Cthulhu D20, I would be about, like Delta Green. I've never played or run it, but I do have some Delta Green books. So that's something eventually that'll be on the docket to run. So I guess there's two. So I guess that would answer the question. Again, Andre C. Martinez, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time to put upon the pedestal your main man, the most hilarious, ridiculous, craziest, foolish, goofiest bastard in the RPG brigade, the ambassador of the barbarian horde, and the mentor of your mind. Hopefully you guys will go and check his channel out. You'll give him the subscriptions he deserves. You'll give him a bionic elbow, which he also deserves, a cross-body block, and a drop kick as well. So go check his channel out. I'm going to respond this video over to him, and you can just follow the link right there, and you could just start beginning with his videos as well. It's your main man. Again, appreciation, Andre, for taking the time to get involved, have a little banter, have a little silliness, have a little fun here with your main man.